Welcome to Deep Thought. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, and this is in connection with the video I did on Tuesday about breaking out of that loop. And I called it break out of that loop if you want to be technical. But then also with having a great power to rise out of a negative environment. And this is just really just in life, just to succeed in life. Because let's be real, all of us are dealing with false beliefs. Even myself, I still got some. Not as many as I did maybe 10 years ago or even a year ago, but that's a lifelong battle. That's a lifelong battle, you know? The lies that we tell ourselves. And that puts us in a loop. Let me use that as an example. I talked about being in a loop, keep doing the same things over and over. A big part of that is people lie to themselves. They think they represent a certain thing, they have this going on, but if your life isn't successful, what's the point? If you're not happy, what's the point? You know? Because the thing is, one of the things you got to fight is the false beliefs. You're not honest with yourself, you know, or rising out of a bad environment. You need to be honest with yourself. Because one of the things when being in a bad environment is recognizing that you are in a bad environment. But some people will lie to themselves. I've seen people lie to themselves about their situation, their living situation, their relationship situation, job situation. You know, what they really want to do in life. They tell themselves, yes, I want to do this. They really don't. They really don't. So here's the thing. The key to just rising in life is being honest with yourself. And I always say this, because I can understand, you know, people going to lie. Most of us, very, very few of us are going to show our true faces. Very few of us. And it's not necessary for a nefarious reason, just to fit in. Just knowing that there can be some negativity against you. You're just for pure survival. Okay. You might have to do it. And then some people, they just going to do it anyway. They just going to tell a lie just to tell one. Okay. At the very minimum, going through life, you got to be honest with yourself. I want you to think you got to be honest. You don't have to be honest with no one else. In fact, I've told people, I see they have some problems, I say, or they suggest something, I say, look, you got to deal with it. You don't have to tell me anything. But you got to look at yourself and ask yourself what you wanted. Like I knew this young lady, she was engaged to this guy. But she didn't really want the guy. She did not want the guy. You know, she had all these problems with the guy, which could have led to some other problems. If they end up getting married, I'll just say it'd probably be in his best interest to double back home. And I'm dead serious. And I forget what I told her. I said, look, you know, you just told me you don't really want that guy. You need to be honest with yourself about it. And, you know, don't try to force it or anything, regardless of what everybody else is trying to say. Don't try to find a reason. Be honest with yourself. Because when you're not honest with yourself, you actually hurt yourself. You put yourself in that loop. You put yourself in a negative environment. But you got to be honest with yourself, because when you're honest with yourself, then you can solve the problem. That's the beauty of honesty. If you're honest with yourself, you can at least say, you know what? I got this issue. I need to work on this. I need to deal with this. And, you know, sometimes just being honest with yourself, you can come to peace with something. You can come to peace with what's happening. You know, I like using myself for an example. And I tell you, I'm still growing. And it was something a few months ago, I said, you know, this is the issue. This is who I am. And I'm good with it. Yes, it's not evil. It's just, it is what it is. But it lifted a burden from my heart. And it's like, okay, I understand this. You know, some other people, if I were to say it, they say, oh man, it's bad. It's like, no, it is what it is. Because at least be honest. Because A, you can solve the problem. B, you can learn to deal with it. Or C, you can just simply accept it. Let me use that C, the C, accepting something. Some stuff just needs to be accepted. Some stuff you really can't deal with. Let me use an example from my relationship channel. As I said the other day, people really get the relationship part. You know, there's always talk about height with men. You know, they ain't 6 feet or they ain't this. But if you're not, you're not. Because I've met plenty of men with shorter stature who still, they enjoying life because, you know what? They were honest about themselves. It's like, this is who I am. This is it. I can't get mad about it. I'm accepting it. You know? You're accepting something. You know, then you're not getting mad. Because let's be real, a lot of people get mad because they don't get something that they wanted. But then if you learn to accept it, just honesty, radical honesty with yourself and who you are. And then that actually affects the mask that you're wearing, because after a while, if you subconsciously accept this is it, I'm honest, that mask starts to come off. Unless, you know, there's still situations you might consciously keep it on you, but the mask starts to come off. Because then you're not going to reflect that. You're going to be honest. You're just like, nah, this is what I like, this is what I do. You know? And a lot of times, it ain't always like negative. Now, if it's something that's hurting other people, you got to be honest with yourself so you can deal with that. Because that's the one thing, regardless of who you are. And when your actions or who you are starts to affect other people in a negative manner, you do have a responsibility to deal with that, because now you interfering with their lives. But if you can keep your tendencies or whatever it is about you to yourself, okay, just be honest about it. Be honest about it. When you're in that loop, you got to be honest about that you're in a loop so you can break out of it. You know, you got to be honest that you are in a dysfunctional environment and you got to figure out how to get out of it. You can't accept that environment and say, oh, this is normal. You know it's not normal. Your spirit knows it's not normal. You got to be honest with yourself and just say, I'm uncomfortable with this. You know, I am uncomfortable. Let me figure out how to get out of it. You know, I've been on jobs. Like I said, I've been on thousands of jobs and stuff. Not literally, but y'all know what I mean. Go with it. And there's been plenty of jobs I rolled on because I said, you know, I don't like this job. Needed the money and everything, but I was like, this isn't me. This isn't me. I'm not going to force myself to like something when I know I don't. And yeah, I'll deal with it until I can find something else. And there have been times I left a job without having another job because I said I had to be honest with myself. That's very important, yeah. And there's something just going through life. Be honest with yourself, no matter what mask you consciously wear with other people. And, you know, like I said, sometimes you might have to. That's a very unfortunate thing. That's something I should talk about. You know, should. By the time I write everything down, I'll be thinking about something else. So I'll get to it at some point. But here's the thing. Be honest with yourself. It's very important in order to really go through life. Think on this. All right. So that's all I have. I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.